Hi, everybody. This is Say versus Capitalism. Come by, give your hits on Fashion Crits. Now we'll be bringing on. Uh, 1 second. Hi,
Hello.
Skylar.
Hi.
I boo booed and already made us live, so I hope that's not a problem.
Sure. No problem.
Okay. How are you doing? Oh, this is Skylar Szabo. How are you doing?
It's a real one. The struggle is real. That's
That
for
bad,
sure.
huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not. Also, I don't have COVID-19 or
that's good.
monkeypox or anything. I'm just wearing the mask because I'm experiencing some dysphoria right now. So
That's
uh,
okay.
yeah.
Not the
Um.
dysphoria, not the experiencing it, but if you need to wear the mask, I mean, sorry. So
Yeah.
sometimes I say things and that isn't what I really meant, and they may not take it that way.
Yeah, that's what autism does. I experience it too. Sometimes I say something and I mean one thing, but it's like I mean something entirely different. So I get it. I know what you mean.
Okay.
Absolutely. Um
Yeah, I'm wearing this shirt in honor of my late wife because she really liked music. That and the fact it's the only clean, dry shirt I have in my house right now. I have a bunch of wet ones, but I really didn't want to wear them on the live stream. So
I know that feeling. I just watched this one this morning, so I get it. Um
yeah.
yeah. So uh did you have a specific topic you wanted to talk about on here?
Well, I did want to ask you a few questions just before we get started. Because my channel is kind of a twofer here, since I do leftist stuff and I do like tabletop RPGs, you don't have to say you like it, but are you into any like D&D or anything like that?
I played one D&D campaign. It was live streamed even.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure the people who were involved don't want me to mention who they are because they don't really like me all that much anymore. Uh,
Ah,
they're not bad people, but like I'm just saying that like I have had one experience with tabletop RPGs, and you know what, I liked it for what it was. It was, there were a lot of moments where we were laughing our asses off and being extreme trolls and stuff, and not
yeah.
literally trolls, but you know what I mean, like I think the DM or the GM, if I'm not mistaken, he's getting fed up with our bullshit. But we did do a few dungeons, which I thought was cool. I even wrote a song about it. Uh,
Cool.
the name of the song, it's on YouTube. It's called Anarcho Momia, and the lyrics are in the video. So it's kind of like a song about the campaign. It's mainly about my character Momia, who was this uh this skeleton with like red and black all over, and he had like a gun. He was like a skeleton with a gun. He was kind of inspired a little bit by uh Brooke from One Piece, the skeleton
Okay.
who plays the violin in One Piece. Uh and it was also somewhat inspired by my tattoo, which is right here. This is my Jolly Roger. And the text on the bottom reads, "Neither gods nor masters," or "No gods, no masters." So
Yeah.
I got the Jolly Roger as a signifier for autonomy. It's like it's to represent what my autonomy means in the form of a symbol. Also, just whenever you see a black flag that is coming over the horizon, over the sea, that means you're about to fucking die. So that's usually how it is in pirates these days, or forever ago, and all that stuff. But anyway, that's sorry. I didn't mean to get into all that, but that was just kind of like my experience with D&D the one time, and I just figured I'd share it.
It's okay. I try to make my channel be the place we can sit back and relax.
Valid. That's valid.
because everybody's like, oh, we got to do this project, got to do that project, got to do this project. And it's like, it's okay. I mean, I like talking about things and getting things done too, but I've seen so many places that their thing is like, not, I don't want to say, I can't even think of the word, but, oh, we're so hoity-toity, we need this, we know this theory, we know that theory. I'm like, that's fine, and there's nothing wrong with all of that. But just talking and hanging out, the whole point, it's like, why fight for something if all you're doing is thinking about the fighting? You need to think about why you're doing it in the first place.
Yeah, you gotta live a little,
Exactly.
Yeah, you gotta like.
And that's, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you.
Oh no, I have severe attention deficit disorder. I will just ramble on and not stop. So if you have to interrupt me, please don't feel bad.
That's valid. I don't like interrupting people, but that's also because like that's just who I am, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, like if you want me to ramble more about my D&D campaign, I'll do it a little bit. Because I don't want to get too deep into it, but
no, that's fine. It's not a requirement. I just, since that's what my channel is, if somebody likes it or has an experience they like, or even if they don't, like why?
I mean, I don't dislike it. It's just, even ever since that moment where like I was in a campaign, I had tried to do another one with other people, but it's just like I never could, amass the group of people to do it, whether it be online or in person.
That's the other struggle I have.
Okay. Are you trying to get one together?
Well, no, I was talking to somebody, I said, I think Revolution's going to happen before I actually literally get a chance to get a group together on a regular basis again. People are like, oh, that's bad. I'm like, yeah, tell me about it. Like there's this one joke. This guy's a teenager, walks up to Sandy and goes, what do you want? I want a dragon. Oh no, something realistic. I want my gaming group to meet every week on time and consistently through a year. What color dragon do you want?
I've heard the joke before, but told with different variables. And yeah, that joke is. I was waiting for that punchline. I knew that punchline was coming. It's a good joke.
You get the idea, though. You get the general. Yeah,
I do. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's because what blows my mind is like the fact that if you look at our society, if you look at the technology from the 1900 to now, we have progressively gotten more and more technologically advanced, but yet we're still working 40 hours a week. Why?
Yeah, it needs to be way the fuck less. Like,
there's no reason for it. It's on that. We've got, and it's going to get worse too, because when we start, and I'll tell you something, because I actually, when I was in college, like last year, I had to drop out because I got sick, and I got really depressed over the fact that they laid my wife to rest last when I was in college. I just couldn't do it. I was just sitting there going, this is just not going to happen. But my project that I did was on technology and labor. And I'm telling you right now, if you think we've got a lot of time before they automate everything, we don't.
Oh no, I know that.
There's a company not far from here called Too Simple. They're a trucking company that is trying to automate all of their semis. By 2024, they will be nationwide, and that's just one company.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think your concern is 100% valid. Especially, I mean, not just from your account. I'm adding on to what you said.
Yeah, no.
But like, I have a friend whom I will not name for confidentiality reasons. He was telling me that at his job, they already got the robot dogs is doing work there, and they've been laying people off, and like the thing is that it's very strange because we don't, how do I put this? We shouldn't have to worry about automation ruining our lives. Automation should be wonderful.
It should be.
Yeah. Also, sorry, random thought. The other day, I think it was July 31st. It was July 31st, if I'm not mistaken. July 31st, 2022 was the canonical birthday of George Jetson from the Jetsons.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's like when I heard that, I was thinking about it because I'm not really a fan of the Jetsons or anything. Maybe when I was
saw it
younger.
as a kid, so I understand. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
if you
me
think
too.
about it, it's like, look at George Jetson. What does the guy have to do for a living? I mean, if you really think about it, he doesn't really have to put out that much effort because it's so automated. But
Yeah, he
yet,
just sits at his desk. Yeah.
for some reason, we can't bring that to reality. Well, those billionaires have to make their money because they work so hard.
I'm still here. Sorry.
Okay, that's fine. They work so hard. I'm like, doing what? I don't think they're doing what you think they're doing.
I mean, yeah, they're not putting that manual fucking labor that I had to do when I was previously employed. Like they're not risking their fucking lives like coal miners are, you know.
No.
They're not they like honestly like actually what was it? I saw the statistic and I saved it. I let me see, one second. It was okay, right? I got it right here. Um, it's a graph, and it's the source is from actually the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Uh, they have a graph that says law enforcement have the 18th highest rate of on the job death in 2020. So that means before that they've got, you're talking like fishers and hunting workers being like the top, the number one, which is like 132.1%, and then it's just like logging workers, it's at like 91.7, which like if you ever heard that song 50,000 Lumberjacks, it's a IWW song, like you'll know what I'm talking about. It's no wonder that it's so high up on this list. And then there's roofers, and then helpers, construction trades next.
Oh yeah.
And then aircraft pilots and flight engineers, refuge and recycle material collectors, iron and steel workers, truck drivers, mining machine operators, farmers, ranchers, agricultural workers in general, and then the police. So it's like, I mean, that's by no means a definitive list, but it's just like we're talking about. The police is literally an industry that's designed to like keep the lower class in the lower class. They're designed to keep the status quo the status quo.
Yeah.
And like there's a lot of like disingenuous framing around how like the police are laborers. I think there's a lot of times where people are in defense of police having unions, especially other leftists sometimes, which I think is a little worrying. But it's just like when we talk about like dangerous jobs and like people who are like, like at risk of dying or like getting sick or terminally ill or terminally disabled, like George Jetson had it super fucking easy. I don't know I don't know too well about the world that he lives in to know what kind of system he lives in. Other than I guess he does have a boss. It's like a short dude, but like
Yeah.
but like the point that I'm making here is that these people don't have it bad as the rest of the working class by a large margin.
I was watching a video the other day, speaking of George Jetson, that actually George Jetson and Fred Flintstone were in the same world.
Yeah, didn't they have like a crossover?
I do believe so. And somebody was like, well, how could that be the case? I'm like, they think it's a post-apocalyptic. Oh, that better not happen. I swear, if that happens, I'm going to lose my collective shit.
What, a post-apocalyptic?
I live in southern Arizona. And our power, if the lightning happens, goes out.
Oh, hell.
So if I go out, I'm not dumping on you. I don't have the control.
That's valid.
So.
I understand. I don't live there anymore, but I'm from Southern California, so I get it. Yeah, I don't. What?
Go ahead.
I'm not going to mention where I live now. I live up north. We'll say that. But
oh, you mean in civilization?
No, don't.
Oh, comparison to Arizona, it's civilization.
No. No, I know. I've been to Phoenix. I've been to Tucson. I know how bad it gets in Arizona. Where I live, it's not better. I mean, it does have benefits as opposed to Arizona, but if we're talking about the whole grand scale of the United States in terms of like standard of living, no. Like, okay, let's take an example here, like Burlington, Vermont, right? I don't live in Burlington, Vermont.
Yeah.
But Burlington, Vermont has a lot of, like, some of the best social reforms in all of the country, thanks to Bernie Sanders. But because Burlington, Vermont, Sanders is no longer the mayor there, a lot of those reforms are being rolled back, and gentrification has been skyrocketing. It's still the best place to live if you can afford it, only because there are a lot of anarchist mutual aid groups over there. So I would say if you're going to compare the North over the South and call the North civilization, I think that's a loaded statement. There's a lot of people up here that honestly, let's just be real here. Let's just put it in simple terms. I've seen the Confederate flag up here more than I've seen the Confederate flag down there, right? Like,
oh no, I'm merely talking about the fact that now take all the benefits of living in a big city in any area, right?
Sure.
I don't even have that. I live in a small town that I probably could, if I really hoofed it, take maybe a week to walk to the border.
Oh heck, I see what you mean.
Yeah. When I mean I'm not in civilization, I'm not joking.
Well, then that's different. Yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah, no. If I lived back up in Tempe when I lived up there, yeah, it's not that much different. But here it's like, oh, I will say this though. One thing I like about the area I live in, there are a lot of actually pretty good restaurants.
Nice. Tell me about them.
And I didn't think there were going to be, because this is like Arizona, but I forgot because there's a military base not far away. Their spouses, many of them marry people outside the U.S. Thanks to our occupation of other countries we don't need to have.
Oh my gosh.
We have great restaurants down here. There's Korean restaurants. There's Japanese restaurants. There's a couple really good German restaurant around here.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Vietnamese restaurant, actually, really good one. I love it. I am really going to get a way to steam my rice, because I think that's the reason why it kind of tastes like ass when I'm making, because it's not that good. And I go to the Vietnamese restaurant, or I go to a certain Chinese restaurants around here, and the rice is it got the perfect texture, and it's awesome. I love it. But yeah, when I'm making it home, it's awful. But if I get one of those, I'll be able to have better rice. So that being said, it's Arizona. It's wretched.
I have a story about a Vietnamese restaurant I went to, if you're interested.
Sure.
So when I was living in Southern California, I was hanging out with a bunch of friends, and I was in the back seat of a car, and I was actually pretty stoned at this point. And we went to this we went to this area in the LA County in the San Fernando Valley called Canoga Park.
Okay.
And it's just like a district in the area. But they have a Vietnamese restaurant somewhere on that like out in that city. And I don't remember what it was called, but I was smoking weed. I was already high. I didn't even bring the weed with me. I was already stoned.
Okay.
The people I was with, they were already drunk. No, they had alcohol with them. They were drinking alcohol. I wasn't drinking alcohol. I just don't drink alcohol. But we went to the Vietnamese restaurant, and I was kind of fucking embarrassed by my friends because they like came inside the restaurant and they left the bottles not in a trash can but like outside the door, and I felt that was so disrespectful. Uh, because I was stoned off my ass. I actually had a pretty good meal there, and I feel bad because like they 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 were so rude. Like not even just then, they were rude the
Yeah.
entire time. And I never hung out with them again. But like I don't know, if you're gonna go to a family restaurant, you gotta show some basic fucking level of respect, you know. Don't
You
That
got to
is
be
not
a
the time to be a Karen, you know?
you got to be an adult about it. You know, it's
Yeah.
just it's something that I noticed because when I was a kid, there was something called common courtesy that happened, and it was a phrase you heard a lot. Then all of a sudden, around oh maybe the 80s, I stopped hearing it, and I know why.
What's up?
Suddenly, if you said common courtesy, you were applying it to people that weren't just like you. And since
Yeah.
I'm white, you know what that means.
No, I know what you mean. It's the same people that are saying common sense these days. Glenn Beck has a whole book about it.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, is some of those people that say common sense are the ones that believe the biggest conspiracy theories. So,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I think things are going on, but I don't think the looking at the facts, things are going on. You don't need to buy into a conspiracy theory. And that's what I think the biggest problem is with conspiracy theories, theorists, many of them, they get into it because it makes them feel important. If they get into like leftist stuff, they're not the center of everything. And because of that, they don't like it. It's what needs to be done, but it doesn't make them feel good because they're not independent of everyone else. Like, you're not independent of everyone else. You live in a society. Unless you live in a bat cave somewhere in the middle of nowhere, you're in society.
Yeah. That's not wrong. Nope. I I also think it's really absurd that like a lot of them are buying into uh QAnon like bullshit, and they call people who don't follow that sheep. But like at the same time, it's like they accept that shit unconditionally. Like they accept all those what they call Q drops like extremely unconditionally. Like it is the gospel. And it's weird because every time QAnon has been proven wrong or like it made a prediction that was false, like the re-election of Donald Trump, they're in denial of it. That's why a lot of them still believe Trump won and shit. You know,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. It's absurd. Not that I stand with Biden or anything. I mean,
Oh, I don't either. You
yeah,
know,
we don't yeah, we I can confidently say that we all don't agree with Biden. We also like, you know, Biden the vote for Biden was a gun to our head, you know.
yeah.
It it was like, you know, it was it was a bunch of fucking libs who were like, see how bad Trump is? Well, you better vote for our guy because he's a little nicer about it, you know.
He has a smile on his face when he gives it to you. And that's about the only difference.
Yeah, pretty much, pretty much.
Yeah, no. And I told my in-laws that. I said, like, I only voted for Biden because he wasn't Trump. Do you think I
Yeah,
well? Yeah, they're like, he's a really good guy. I'm like, no, he's not.
No.
The guy is the reason why so many black kids went to jail for so many years. He's been on the wrong side of history more often than not.
His vice president is also the reason for that, especially in San Francisco, the Bay Area. She has a whole history of that. Like the vagrancy laws that she was placing were like targeting black mothers of all people and shit. It's absurd that this whole notion of what is it? A seat at the table is the phrase. You know, the idea that one of everyone should be at the table to decide how the world should be oppressed, right?
Yeah.
That's where I don't see the logic, you know, and I feel like every time someone buys into that logic, we all risk getting killed, you know, all of us.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah. If you don't mind, if it's okay with you, I'd like to change the subject to something else.
Sure.
I actually did want to talk about your shirt when you brought it up earlier.
Okay.
May I see it? Says
this Irish girl is armed with a quick wit, exceptional skills, vocabulary, loads of sarcasm, and little to no tact or filters. Caution is advised. And that was my wife.
That's awesome. That's a cool
That was
shirt.
definitely her.
Aw. Do you want to talk about your wife because I was going to talk about Irish music, but do you want to talk about it, wife at all?
I did talk to her about all this leftist stuff before she passed away. Wasn't the biggest fan, but she said, I'm supporting you. If that's what you believe in. She was actually the part that really hurts about this. One of the reasons why I'm doing live streams is because I really don't edit very well. And she, years ago in college, literally that was her degree, was learning how to edit. Now, this was on older technology. But as she said, I don't have to splice film. I'm happy. So she said, I'm willing to do it in a heartbeat for you if that's what you want me to do. But unfortunately, she was too sick. She got sick in 2017. She went into a diabetic coma for a month. My dad passed away 2 weeks after she woke up. And 5 years later, 2 weeks earlier than 5 years later, she finally died.
Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry.
And I say this not because I'm being racist, but if she were black, she would have gotten better health care. And when I mean that, they would have just let her die when she initially got sick. Because they basically tortured her for 5 years.
Oh my goodness. I don't know how to respond to what you just said, but I will say I'm still sorry for your loss. Especially sounds like your wife was a really good impact on your life for sure.
Oh, she was. Even she admitted she said at one point, she said, I know I'm a real bitch to live with. And she was. I'm not gonna lie about that. But she was a really nice person.
Absolutely.
And it just, what bothered me the most is it was so bad. The healthcare she got was so shoddy that she literally was sent, and I'm not joking when I say this, to somebody's house that ran their own do-it-yourself nursing home.
Oh, fuck.
She got bologna sandwiches as a diabetic. They had people there. Now, I don't care where you're from or what languages you speak, but if you're in a medical profession and you don't speak a language of the person that you are dealing with, that's a problem. She at one point had people on at night that didn't speak English and only spoke Spanish.
Oh my goodness.
That's a problem.
Yeah. I mean, that's good for people who speak Spanish because I think that's not that's not always readily accessible to people, especially
Yeah,
speak it. But especially in this country, because this country is predominantly English speaking. But
yeah,
but yeah, like especially in that situation, I know I see what you mean. I agree. That is unacceptable.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I'm sorry about that.
I mean,
And
they sent her back and forth. She went up to Tucson and back to this area so many times. There was one doctor who said, "Why is she going back and forth?" And it was because the insurance company didn't want to spend the money, keep her in the hospital till she actually got better because she had an abscess that was like this big in her back after she fell down. Because when you're
oh my god,
diabetic, you're incredibly susceptible to infections.
god
And
damn.
she just kept on getting them over and over and over and over again. And they just did nothing. And the nursing homes were literally a joke. One was so bad. I was talking to a woman who, Shannon and I met her when Shannon first went to this one nursing home. I can't remember which one. Both of them there are just horrible. I told somebody, I said, if I go into a nursing home, do me a favor, put a gun to my head and blow my brains out because I don't want to go to one. Because that,
Yeah, every family member who has been suggested a nursing home, they have expressed very similar sentiments. So I know what you mean. Um, my aunt is in a nursing home right now, and um, she's not dealing with it well either. She doesn't. She really deserves like better health care than this, but
oh yeah,
yeah,
no, I don't care who you are. There's somebody I know. I cannot stand this person. I won't say who they are. But my family knows exactly who I'd be talking about if they knew if they heard me say this. That guy could like he's just as far as I'm concerned, he's an abomination to being a human being. He's just wretched. Even that guy, as much as I can't stand him, and he was nasty to my wife and me. Still is nasty to me, but he was nasty to my wife. Doesn't deserve local, and he needs it. He needs to go to nursing home at this point. And I'm not saying that's a derogatory. He's older gentleman. Um, and he needs to be in a nursing home. But if him and his wife try to start the process to go to go to a nursing home, it will basically destroy their life savings. Now,
yeah,
admittedly, they own a house and they're renting to somebody, so but still, I mean, you don't deserve to be bankrupted uh because they were when I went through it with my wife, that honestly, they treated me like I was a criminal, and that's what makes me so mad. It's like, why is I just want my wife to get decent health care? Why are you treating me like I'm trying to steal something? Well, I mean, those wealthy people don't do anything. I mean, what they do is they've what I think honestly, our society has repackaged feudalism to look nice because that's what capitalism is. Because if I have to work for somebody, pay their debt that they made to invest in the company, and I never stop paying it off because I never get the full value of my labor, that's feudalism.
yeah.
You
I
know?
mean, yeah, it's just redefined feudalism, if you will.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's all it is.
I
And
mean,
now
it's
they're
all.
trying to go ahead.
Sorry, it's just. It's. I was just gonna say it's also like how uh, prison has been or slavery has been redefined over the course of time. It was like especially in the U.S. It was chattel slavery, then Jim Crow, then segregation, and now prison labor. It's just
Yeah.
they pretty much just shifted the goalpost, redefined what it means to be a slave. Even in the 13th Amendment, EJ was just talking about it just the other day, and
Yeah.
it is in a really good book called "Are Prisons Obsolete" by Angela Davis from the Black Panthers. Um, they both talk about how the 13th Amendment does talk about it does say that slavery is abolished, but there's a condition for that, and that is if you are duly convicted of a crime. And crime is redefined also over time to mean different things. Like for instance, uh, people who have been charged for cannabis possession are still in prison today, but in a lot of states, cannabis is legal, and especially like in California, where one of the it's if I'm not mistaken, it's the highest rate of prisons in the whole country. So it's a little. I think it's really absurdly fucking disrespectful that like I could go if I were in California, which I was, and I did. I would go to a dispensary where I could get like weed and edibles and everything
Yeah.
and literature on how to be safe while consuming cannabis in the same dispensary, while at the same time people are in jail for a crime that is literally fucking monetized. Uh, I, and just as a small tangent on that, um, I remember for a short while, like right when I graduated high school, I called myself an anarchist back then, but my views on anarchism were changing and became who I was today. But um, I mistakenly became a libertarian and an anarcho-capitalist over time. But that was a short while, and in
Nobody's
that
perfect.
short, what's up?
Nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes.
Valid. But in that short time, one of my beliefs at the time, and I'm foolish for thinking this, was that we need to legalize cannabis and then tax the fuck out of it. Now that's our reality now, and I mean it's okay. Say what you want about taxation. Taxation, especially in the context of giving back to the community, is good, but it goes to the police, it goes to the military, over abundantly so, disproportionately so. And so I look back at my younger self and I think, why didn't I account for that? You know, like I had good intentions back then, but I was so nearsighted. I didn't look at the big picture. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, I love tired.
It's
Tired
okay.
and air condition my air conditioner in my house doesn't work.
I'm sorry.
So yeah. It's something dumb. I think the one guy said I think the battery in your things, but it's gonna be like I think at least a week before I can get them in here. So
I'm sorry, especially
Eh,
in Arizona.
I went out and got a fan.
Hey,
So I'm actually doing pretty good. I don't know if you can hear it in the background. I kind of forgot to turn it off. But no, around here, the fortunate thing of where I live in Arizona is this. Because I live in what's called the high desert, once the sun drops over the horizon, give it a little while, the temperature drops like a rock. So when it gets like deep, like maybe 8, 9 o'clock at night, it may say 80 degrees outside, but it feels like maybe 70 or even like high 60.
sure.
And I'll just open my door, turn on my fan, and I'll just go to sleep. So,
yeah.
And that's probably what I'm going to do tonight, too, to be honest, because I'm getting pretty tired.
Hey, if you need to wrap this up soon, that's totally fine. I do need to get to grocery shopping relatively soon anyway. So.
Oh, no, that's okay. That's okay. I didn't know how long you wanted to be on for. Oh, I did want to mention one thing and get your opinion on it.
Sure.
I talked to EJ and I've talked to BP, both about this. And I wanted to get your opinion on it. I'm not trying to lead the charge on this. I just want to see this done. We as leftists need to have our own media. The right wingers have it all locked up. They have their own media, and we need ours desperately. And I'm trying to get people to get together to form like either getting voices on like say EJ's puppet shows. I think representation there is essential. I told BP I will tell EJ the next time and I will hammer him every time I can. Put other people on your shows. Put other people on your puppet shows. You need to do that. It's important. And what I really would like to do, my computer's not strong enough to handle it, but I've recently discovered something. There's a program called Blender. It is a 3D, among other things, it's a 3D animation program. You can use it to do Disney Pixar quality level movies. I would like to see animation, particularly children's animation, that we can get together, we can voice it and do something. I don't know what, I don't care. But we need to have our own we need to have our own media output because we don't have it. All we have is money, money, money. Money's good in our society, and that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me just let me respond with one piece at a time. First of all, I agree that we do need our own like dual power structured media outsource. Like we need to have a platform that we can call our own, and more importantly, I think we need to have that reach. You know, um, um, my apologies. Can I be right back? I'll be right back.
Sure.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I hope she's all right. Oh, I'll do mine. Uh,
Hi, I'm back. I don't know if you're out and about.
I'm here. Just give me a second.
Sure. Um, so I don't want to get too deep into it, but I had to put my brace on because I was starting to feel pain in my arm. I went to the ER earlier this week. I don't want to get too deep into it though.
Oh, that's okay. I hope you're feeling better now.
Well, I feel more secure now, so that's good. Um,
That's good.
I needed to put it back on. It was necessary. Anyway, so where to continue from here?
We need our own media.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I have a lot of thoughts on all of this. Because a lot of, especially not just the media part, but the kids media part. I have a lot of thoughts. So, firstly, one of the people in my life that is, I would say, got me into leftism in the first place. Not necessarily like the contemporary leftist talking points that we talk about today, like mutual aid and all that stuff, but just kind of like the opening point. Was the singer of this band, Jello Biafra from the Dead Kennedys.
Ah.
And one of the things that he said, which relates to what you're talking about, is that we need to not hate the media, but become the media. And he even did a whole album about this, like a whole talking album, spoken word album about it. But the reason why I'm bringing him up is because he, as well as other like researchers such as Ben Bajikian has talked about how 90% of all media in the world and the US is owned by like 6 companies, and it used to be like a much larger number, like 56, then 12,
Yeah.
now 6. And I fear it's even getting smaller because Fox just recently bought out. No, Disney bought out Fox, if I'm not mistaken, or it's the other way around. One of them bought each other. Point is
Yeah.
that they're one thing now, so it's even smaller now. That's what monopolies do, and that's what. And I'm bringing all this up because you're talking about creating a media source that is outside of the realms of YouTube, and I think that's a very admirable goal, and I think it's worth exploring. But um, Google is a monopoly, and it does dominate the exposure that its users and other media sources get. So when we talk about like other media platforms, we have to keep in mind like who's going to be consuming that media. Um, and so while you were talking about the stuff, and you were talking about like the kids media and stuff, um, I had some like ideas, but then it was like I don't know how confident I am in those ideas, right? And I'll tell you what they are. But you'll see what I mean in a second. There is
Okay.
there is one particular anarchist media that I was invited to, and I intend to upload to it. I just haven't gotten around to it. Life and shit. I'm sure they understand. It's called Collectiva, uh,
Okay.
uh, and EJ has talked about it to some degree, and it's basically an anarchist media that is not run by like a major company. It is a media that is specifically designed for the purpose of showing direct action, mutual aid, and teaching the values of that stuff, etc., etc., etc. Um, and you'll find people like Aaron from Reeducation on there, for instance. He's uploaded to there several times. Um, the problem I have with it, though, not nothing against them. It's not inherently their fault or anything. This is a common problem I have. Like Means TV, like Curiosity Stream, like
Yeah.
uh, like Collectiva even. Some of them do have paywalls, some of them don't. But then I think about what you said just now about making media for children, and that's the gray area because I think about stuff like PragerU Kids, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard, I don't know if you've seen the cartoons that have come out recently, but that shit is extremely fucking like dangerous because it does have that reach that I mentioned earlier, but it also has a lot of funding behind it. EJ and Luna are really good at making that kind of media, sure, but they don't have that funding. They don't have the same exposure that they do. And
Yeah.
so that's where I present like not necessarily a solution, but like more of a problem that maybe I don't know, hopefully we haven't seen before, or maybe we have considered it before. I'm just trying to further contextualize it in the direction that you're trying to explain it in,
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my thoughts on it.
Oh, no, no, no. It is a problem that we wouldn't have as much reach. But here's the thing. There's nothing out there now. And there's nothing, and then there's PragerU for Kids. Even if we don't get much of a reach and we only put it on like say PeerTube or something, it's out there. We can reference it. We can send people there. That's the
Well,
important thing. We have to have the resources.
well, what I would recommend then is that I would try to collaborate the media that we produce based on the already existing mutual aid organizations that work with kids actually. I will okay where I live there are a lot of them even mutual aid organizations that work for trans youth. Um, but I'll reference another city like Portland, Oregon. I've only been there once, but I do know a lot of people from there. And there are mutual aid organizations out there that are working with people of color, children of color, and they are, constantly doing marches, fundraisers, cooking. They had like they opened the skate park at the fundraiser, and they put the admission of the fundraiser to school supplies. The last time I saw them do anything, I
Well,
haven't
that's
been paying
good.
attention, but it's just like, if you want to like create kids media that appeals to kids, you should consider working alongside with mutual aid organizations that already exist that are working to help kids in that regard. That's
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's my advice on that, because you're
Oh
not
yeah.
gonna, because like, let's just be real here, like, if you're gonna try to compete with YouTube, you're gonna fucking lose.
Oh
Like,
no, I don't plan on it.
yeah, but if you're gonna try to, if your goal is to meaningfully raise a generation of children who value the means of like direct action and mutual aid, that's where you want to put your focus in.
Oh yeah, no, 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 no. I just all I want to do. I mean, I do want to look like ask them stuff like that, but because I mean, if you look at um like a lot of the self-help stuff and all that sort of thing, what do these organizations say? Surround yourself with what you're looking at doing. And I want to be able to set up a support for all of these people that they can go, okay, kids, we're going to watch Timmy the mutual aid kid or what, whatever, um, today kind of thing. Because in media, we just don't have that. We have these kids going, well, you got to get yours, don't work with anybody else. Cause if you do that,
Well, I mean, look, let me put it this way. In Los Angeles, where I'm from, uh, there's an organization called the People City Council, and in 2020 they released something. Okay, the thing that they released has profanity. I cannot judge as to whether or not that's for kids or not. You be the judge of that. I probably wouldn't, but the intention, I would say, minus the profanity. I'm not a huge anti-profanity person, but minus the profanity, I would say this thing is good for kids, right? And it was a cartoon that was uh that was all about like rabbits handing out like water bottles to houseless people. Like, I remember like I remember like there was one slide of the cartoon. It was like a comic slide thing, and they were like, the rabbit was saying, "Should I give this water bottle to my neighbor? Yeah, it's hot." And then they were like, should I get like an ice cooler? Yeah, that's a great idea, because then you can keep the water cool while you're handing it out to people. Uh, you know, it it it's a fun and easy way to engage with like ideas of mutual aid and stuff to kids. I would even go farther than that. I've seen, and I actually don't know where I saw this from, unfortunately. Maybe Rose City or something like that. Rose City Antifa, maybe. I'm not entirely sure, but um, there was one that was talking about police abolition, right? And police abolition, I think it's a very hard topic to get around to a lot of adults these days, let alone kids, because police is so normalized and like just like it's commonly accepted as like the status quo, and that's what's so dangerous about it. But finding like an effective way to get kids to question the dominant factors of authority, especially in our culture, I think that's a really good place to start. Like, not just teaching kids how to do mutual aid or how to do direct action, but also like questioning the status quo, questioning how these things are, and giving them that opportunity to make the puzzle pieces together connect, and like say, well, things need to change, and now I am prepared to understand how to make these changes in
Yep.
my adulthood. I
Yeah.
can fight for that change when I get older. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, oh my God. I hate when this happens. My eyelashes sometimes get right underneath my eyelids, and
Oh, I hate that. I know what you mean.
oh no, that's some really good stuff. Yeah. Wow, am I tired?
Hey, it's okay. If you need to head out, that's valid. I don't know if you had any other questions for me though, but uh,
No, that was just, I did want to talk about the whole, since you're a creative type, about like say media for kids, having our own media, because it's just I'm honestly tired of hearing about how I should screw over somebody else because that makes the world a better place for the billionaires. But I'm not really helping them. I'm helping me. Yeah, right. Um well, you said you wanted to take off.
well, I mean, I'm only going based on your vibe, but I do have to go get some groceries. But
That is important.
yeah, and
That
your
is
sleep
very
is important too.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I'm. You have to realize I'm on dialysis. I'm always tired,
Yeah,
but yeah, no. If you got to get groceries, I gotta make some hard boiled eggs here in a little while. So I
my
totally
goodness.
get the needing to get foodstuffs. So,
For
well, thank
sure.
you for coming on, Skylar. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Take care,
Yeah, you
and
too.
and
Have a nice
and stay
day. See you,
safe.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Okay.